What's up? What's up? We're back once again, talking about Tigres. Uh, Not looking great at the moment, but what's up, guys? How we doing?
What's up, Arnoldo? Good to see you guys.
Yeah, it's good to finally talk to you, Lewis, because obviously you've done a great job on Twitter, obviously keeping people like me updated who are lack of Spanish and supporting the club for a lot of years yourself, as you can tell. And the group chat obviously keeps me really well updated with the club and the whereabouts and transfers, etc. So no, it's good to finally be here and have a little talk about the upcoming season, which is not looking promising, is it?
No, it's not, brother. And so it's good to have you. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for staying up on the side of your world. I know it's
Yeah,
pretty
man.
late, so thank you for that.
Yeah, man, for the
But
Tigres, man, you already know this.
Ayo, so let's get right into it. So there's a couple of things that are going on with the team. Obviously, the loss against Cruz Azul, 3-2 at home, season opener. Uh, get some early thoughts. What did you think, Lewis, about the game?
Offensively, we were doing well. I thought we did much better than Cruz Azul. 21 shots. We had 14 shots inside the box, 7 outside the box. So we were right where we needed to be offensively. I thought Cordova came in to the starting 11. I was surprised. He played really well. Solid performance from him. Fulgencio, a guy who's not commonly in the starting 11, also came in, gave us a good spark in place of Quiñones. So definitely pretty proud of the attacking third for sure. The big disappointment during that game was the defending. Mental mistakes, defending errors. Our center backs, oh, what a nightmare. Huge gaps everywhere. So it's a big concern for me. The defense, the back line. I don't think we're 3 seasons into the Piojo era, and I don't think he's found a consistent center back pairing yet. So that's a big concern. Cruz Azul really didn't attack much. I think they had 7 shots total, four shots on goal, and 3 of those converted. So when we do face a more offensive team, we're gonna struggle. So there's a lot of there to be concerned about, I think, moving forward on the defense.
Woodz, any particular? Did you get a chance to watch the game? First of all,
Yeah. It's actually I don't know if I mentioned this, but the game was actually on the night of my birthday. I'm 20 now, and so I was watching it half on the piss. But
nice.
I was
So
I
cool.
was clear enough. I could see clear enough to see that. I think Louis summed it up perfectly. But what that game reminded me of is I only started back in the club just a few years back, obviously with the two Carrera and the 4-4-2 system we played, and it felt very similar to the end of his reign, like going forward after
Yeah.
players, Gignac and what and Valencia, etc., and with leaving unnecessary open gaps at the back and unnecessarily dropping points. That felt like a very lackluster Tuca game, if I'm honest. And it's been an issue ever since I started following the club, the defence, the shape of the team. And I'm just wondering, how long are we going to neglect the shape of the team? Because it's one of the most important things in football. And we've just sort of relied on the talent of our attacking players. And I feel like, even though we've been dubbed, obviously the North American team of the century, or the decade even, I feel like we've actually underachieved a bit. Yes, we've won a few Mekis titles. We've only won one CONCACAF Champions League. I think we should have a. This has been an issue for a few years. This is what I'm trying to say. I think we should have a few more titles and potentially more continental success to that. Honestly, because the neglect of the overall shape of the team is nothing. It's nothing new, and I just don't know when it's going to get sorted out.
Lewis and I were talking pre-recording about how it felt like at the end with Tuca, and also just relying on individualities. Let's see what if Quinones has a great game, so he can dish the ball to Gignac, and Gignac puts the ball in the back of the net, and just being very predictable in how we're going to play, and just not really finding a new method of either breaking down the defense that Cruz Azul, came and parked the bus. They had a few chances and buildups, but for the most part, they came to defend and seek a tie or, on a counter, knowing that Tigres was going to give up that space. So I totally agree with you. I feel like we've been let down in a way, and relied mostly on our talent and our leadership, the players that we have. And, I believe, it's time. It's time to reshape the squad and, do it from a transition that is gradual to drastic, making big splashes. We need an elite defender. We've been talking about that for months now.
I thought
Yeah, and
selling
I
Salcedo
think
as
no
well.
matter who we bring in offensively, this new hire, Jordi Caicedo, he looks to be a pretty solid center forward. But no matter how well you play offensively, if you have those huge gaps in the back and defensive errors, it's going to be really tough to win regular season games, let alone try to win a liguilla. Once the games get tougher defensively, you have to be a lot better. And if we're giving up 3 goals a game, it's just not going to work. So it's unsustainable. And I know that Piojo, his priority is always on the offense. He's a attack first kind of coach, but the neglected defense is, it needs to be fixed pretty quick.
Are you do you rate Jordi Caicedo, Woodz? Have you heard anybody or talk any discussion, anything you've seen on him?
No, I've not seen nada, mate. No, I watch a lot of leagues, but unfortunately not. I was just about to get into the point before Louis started coming on to the defensive issues. Obviously, I said selling Salcedo was. I saw that was going to be suicide every day of the week. We all saw it coming. I was going to say I saw it coming, but realistically, you didn't take a genius to know that selling Salcedo and replacing him with like Igor Lichnowsky, who's come in, not look great at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's a worry. So, and the fact that we've signed just one player in this window and it's an attacking option, it just hurts my head. Just do the organisation not watch the games? Do Piojo not?
I just
coming out and saying, we've got great squad depth and is this man blind? I don't know.
I feel like they were thrown off, man. I don't think they had a plan to bring in the positions that were needed. And with the expectation of bringing this coach, all everyone expected was, hey, we're going to be a high flying team and score lots of goals. Like, we'll figure out the defense. And, with Salcedo looking to depart to the MLS, like, I think there was a couple of things that happened that just led to the crumble of the entire defense. But I blame mostly the planning. I don't think they had a plan. It was just like, hey, we're bringing in this exciting coach and we'll figure out as we go. And it still shows. I mean, the fact that this man is still not keen on signing on defender is incredible.
Yeah, the honeymoon period for Piojo Herrera is gone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most fans were going to give him 1 season because we knew it was a transition from a more balanced coach, and some would say defensive coach, to a more offensive coach. So he got that 1 season as a transitional period, but honeymoon's over. And if he doesn't produce anymore, then, the fans are not going to be happy with him. And I think most of us are quite unhappy with the job he's doing right now, because defensively, he's done nothing to improve the team. Woodz talked about the Tuca era. That last season with Tuca, we had a lot of defensive errors, and I think that was Tuca's downfall eventually. And so Piojo needed to have looked at that side as well and try to do something about it, and he hasn't. And from everything I've heard in the press conferences, he doesn't make it a priority. And so until that happens, I don't see any improvement in our back line, and I don't know if Piojo is the guy to even coach him up to do it.
Yeah. So looking at the lineup ahead for tomorrow's game, seems like he's going with the same 4 defenders. Angulo on the left side, Aquino on opposite side, and then the 2 center backs, Diego Reyes and Lichnowsky. In the middle, he's repeating Guido Pizarro with Vigon and Cordova. And then Quiñones coming in for Fulgencio, Gignac, and Florian. Carioca once again out. Diente is still not an option to start. I feel like the new signing of Jordi Caicedo is going to be the first option, just like Charlie Gonzalez was the first option coming off the bench. So I know there's been rumors about Soteldo possibly leaving to Brazil, but is Diente an option, to leave as well? Are we willing to depart, even though we know the talent that he has, but he's not finding the starting position, just like Carioca once again. So what do you guys are thoughts on the starting lineup? Start with you, Luis.
I don't know if I like that back four, to be honest with you. I've said it before, Reyes and Lichnowsky do not need to go together. That's not a good pairing for me. And I think you can find room for Carioca and Pizarro in the starting 11. In the past, he's used Pizarro more as a in the sweeper role, and I kind of like that. He gives us a little more balance in the back, and you can play Angulo as a left back, and you can play Pizarro more as a sweeper, and then you can do wing backs on the edges. So I think I like that better than what he's putting out now. And I think you got to find a way to have Pizarro and Carioca in the starting 11. I think he can do it if he's willing to mix up the lineup a little bit more.
Yeah, man, 14 goals against in the last 8 games. Like, that's just a lot of goals to give up. Like, it doesn't really give us a chance at winning. And I'm just appalled at the idea that he's not willing to play 3 in the back. Like, we played the best soccer last season when we played 3 in the back, after realizing that Carioca needed to come into the starting lineup, because if we can recall at the beginning of last season, Carioca started on the bench as well.
Yeah. To get to your point on Diente, I think it'd be a huge mistake to let him go.
Yep.
I think Soteldo, you can afford to lose him, because you have several players that can fill that role. So you got Quiñones, who can play as a left winger. You've got Aquino, who can play as a left winger. You've got Fulgencio, shown last game that he can play as a winger. But we don't know anything about Jordi Caicedo yet. We have no idea if he's going to adapt to the league, if he's going to be the player we think he might be.
Mm-hmm.
And so until we figure that out, it would be a big mistake to get rid of Diente. I think Diente needs to stay active. We're playing 2 tournaments, so we're going to need him in at least one of them. So to me, he's got to be at the very bottom of the transferable players.
I totally agree with that point that you're making. The only thing that I'm slightly concerned about is if you keep him, this next few months and don't really play him, and he doesn't get the starter minutes that he wants. And you can argue he deserves them, but I like Piojo is just being stubborn in the way that he plays and now figuring out other ways to include, Carioca and Diente in the lineup, which I think it's possible, it's feasible. Having the Quiñones incident, I'm wondering how Diente's feeling, after you're refusing, Quiñones to play and asking for more money, and he's still the first option, off the bench, and to start, like, that must be like a horrible feeling for him. And it's a World Cup year, like he's been called by Diego Alonso. So I think that if we keep him, he's not going to want to stay for when we start CONCACAF. So I feel like his market, as well as Soteldo's, is so high in South America, more specifically in Brazil. And you got to be able to sell him because I don't think we have enough to win it. And even if we bring an elite defender or, another attacking option, they might not adapt. There's a lot of things that could happen. I'm just thinking ahead after the World Cup, because a lot of these guys are going to be pissed off if they're not getting the minutes. And in a case like him, he's not going to go to the World Cup, and he's going to blame it on that. And, his market value will fall. And so that's my only concern.
Yeah, I definitely see your point. I just think this is an older squad.
Yeah.
And if you just start the same 11 like the way Tuca did, you're going to run them into the ground. At some point, Piojo's going to have to incorporate some rotation into that squad. And that's when you're going to start to see Diente get minutes, and Fulgencio's going to get minutes, and Soteldo, if he stays, is going to get minutes. So I think it's just wise when you're playing 2 tournaments in one short season to have that extra player, a guy who can give you a spark and give Gignac some rest, because he's going to need it this season.
But see that I don't think he's even going to get the rest, bro. I just think that, he's rolling. He loves Quiñones. He's not going to bench Florian, and he's not going to bench Gignac. And the only options for rotations are the middle and the back. And I just feel like, yes, they're going to come off the bench and contribute. I just don't believe that they're going to be as content with it. It's going to be another Edu Vargas, bro.
Yeah,
How
it's
pissed off was
possible.
Edu Vargas and being, what is he like? He's probably the Chilean's best scorer, if I'm not mistaken. He has
On
like
the national team,
on
he
the
is, yeah.
national team, right? And you had a player like that, and he just didn't really get much of him. Yeah, we won a couple of championships, and he was important in the Clásico. I just think that we didn't get enough for the type of player and talent that he had, just like Diente has. And so there's been many cases of those. Solarayan, even Jurgen Damm in a way. So I just think that with these things occurring, you got to figure out a way to either make everybody play or move on. Let's go bring in somebody that fits what he desires. But we've been talking about that he might not even be the option past the World Cup.
I do believe that if Piojo doesn't do rotations, if he doesn't rotate the squad, we'll have a ton of injuries, man. So either way, I think Diente gets time this season, either
Hopefully.
voluntarily by Piojo or because the circumstances have made it so that he has to play because people are getting injured. I do think that if we get an elite center back this season, I think we have a shot.
Yeah.
I mean, if we get a leader and a guy that's really good, a
Proven.
Gustavo Gomez type center back, I think we'll have a shot. But that's the only way.
I'm talking about an 8 million investment. Like, I don't want no 4 million investment. Like, he might have upside. He might have potential. I need somebody that's proven, like Gustavo Gomez that you mentioned. But we'll see where it goes, man. On paper, the game should be slightly more feasible for a victory tomorrow. What are your thoughts? What were you thinking for tomorrow's game?
Yeah, I think we'll have the ability to score in bunches. I honestly, it's not something crazy to think that we might win like 4-2. I still think our defense is going to give up a ton of goals this season.
Yep.
And and Piojo is kind of sticking to his guns with Reyes and Lichnowsky as center backs. And to me, that's just a bad combo. So we'll see. But I think we've got the possibility of just outscoring them. It could be a 4-2, 4-3 type game.
We beat them 3-2, if I'm not mistaken, last season at home. So, yeah, I'm with you. I'm thinking either big lead, we come out on fire. Defense is great. 3-1. That's what I'm hopeful for. 3-1 victory. But I think it's more looking like a 3-2 running back from last season. We win. So make a little dramatic, just how we like it. Get that heart rate
just like we're accustomed.
Yeah. All right, my friend. Well, thanks for joining. Looks like we lost Woodz. He said he had some computer crashing issues, but thanks for your time, and hopefully we get this victory tomorrow. And until next time, brother. Arriba la U.
Let's get it, Arnoldo.
Yep.
Take care.